Well, hey, welcome. My name is Vinnie Angelo. I'm an audiobook narrator. I'm a voiceover narrator. I'm a voiceover artist, but I do a lot of audiobooks, and I am so pleased to come into partnership with you and to narrate your audiobook. Thanks a ton for inviting me into this process. One thing I really like to do is to have open communication between myself and my client, and this just puts expectations on the same level for both of us. It will help me especially to answer or to ask questions of you, especially if you're the author of the book and I just have specific questions, so I could bring it to life and communicate things in the best way possible, because I'm basically being a voice of you. So this is an introduction to just what we're going to be doing here. I have included in our email a PDF, I call it a welcome packet, and this just goes through the process. This could be especially helpful for a first-time rights holder. Who are you? You're the rights holder, I'm the publisher. I'm sorry, you are the rights holder, I'm the producer. And so this could be helpful just to know, hey, how does this process work? If you've been a rights holder on a different project and worked with a different narrator, a different producer before, this just tells of my process. I am flexible, so I'm always up to talking about any of this, but this is generally the way I work. So I just want to go over this. Some of us are maybe oral hearers. We like to see and hear this rather than read it. So I'm just going to go over a lot of what is in this PDF that I have. So let's go ahead as I morph into this. And this is literally what I emailed to you. So the first step from here is receiving and preparing the manuscript. I need you to either email me the manuscript or upload it onto the ACX platform. There will be a place for the manuscript. I really need to make sure that this is the final version of the book, the final formatted version. If we have to work within a Kindle version, I could do that. I don't prefer to. The best way to do it is if you give me a PDF of the final version, preferably if you sent it off to a copy editor, someone who formatted it. That'd be the best. It has page numbers and all that, and that really helps me, especially in the editing process later, which I'll talk about. But if you could send me that, that'd be great. I have had instances where I get a copy of a book and then I'm a couple days into recording and then the author realizes, oh, I sent you the wrong copy. And now I've gone and I've left out information, or I've included something that maybe had an error or something. So please double check that you're selling me the final printed version, what will be sold on Amazon or wherever you're going to be selling at, and get me that version. That's the best way to do it. I'm going to go through this at this point. I'm going to skim through the book. I'm going to, look for what's happening in the book in terms of the content, the storyline. But then I'm going to go through and I'm going to say, hey, what words do I need to be aware of? Are there nouns, proper nouns? Maybe there's cities that I'm not familiar with that aren't standard. It's not San Francisco or New York. Maybe it's a city. I'm randomly thinking of a city. Maybe it's a city in Kansas. I'm not from Kansas, but I've been to Salina, Kansas, or is it Salina, Kansas? Which is it? For someone like me who I'm not aware of those places, what's the pronunciation? Maybe it's somewhere you lived and you know how it's pronounced. In California, we have a city called Concord. Well, it's spelt the same way, I think, in New Hampshire or Massachusetts in the New England area, and they pronounce it Concord. So there's things that I'm just going to ask you in terms of pronunciation for cities, places, people especially. I want to get those right. So I'll look through that. I'll then submit a list to you. And if you could get back to me, sometimes we'll have a Zoom call. Sometimes the rights holder will just text me a voice memo and say, hey, this word, this is the way I pronounce it. This word, this way. And that is extremely helpful. So that's going to be the preparation portion of the book before we do anything. The next thing that happens is I give you what ACX calls a checkpoint. This is a sample. This is after the audition process. We're already in contract at this point, and I'm going to record a first extended portion of the book. It might be the introduction chapter. It might be all or part of chapter 1. It's usually going to be around 10 to 15 minutes. I upload this to you, and this gives you the opportunity to listen to what I'm doing to your book, and you could say, yes, Vinnie is capturing it. This is the tone, the pacing, the speed, the style that I want. Or maybe you're hearing something else. This is a great chance for us to go and talk about what you're hearing. And if I'm capturing it, if I need to do something completely different, or just some minor tweaks. This really is the last chance to do that sort of thing, because after we do this checkpoint, then I'm just off to the races. which I'll get to in a second. But this checkpoint is very important in terms of style, delivery, pacing, just making sure I'm capturing the overall essence of what you're doing. Once we agree to this, whether it's the first pass is a yes, or if it's no, this isn't what I'm thinking, and we tweak it. Eventually, when we agree, what I look for now is, from an administrative standpoint, this is where I have you as the rights holder pay a 50% deposit on the estimated final. We won't know the final length of the audiobook until we finish, because every book is a little different. But we could use some estimates there. So say it was a 30,000 word book and we estimate it's going to be 4 hours long. Well, at whatever the price per finished hour cost is, we'll have whatever that 50% is of what we think it might be. You pay that, and that could be done. I'm very flexible on how it is. Most people would use a Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, something to that. I'm open to other sources as well. And we give the 50% of the estimated cost. I will submit an invoice for you, so we all know what's happening there. At the end of the project is when you'll pay the balance on that prorated cost. Maybe it comes in exactly at 4 hours. We're good. Maybe it comes under 4 hours. Maybe it comes over 4 hours a little bit. I've had books do all of those things. And that's when we'll estimate and do the final payment. So that's what happens at that checkpoint and then that first payment. From here, I'm just going. I'm living in my booth, which you can't see a lot of. Where's my finger here? This is actually my booth right here. Right now, I'm sitting at my desk where I edit. But this is my my professional booth, my professionally built home booth. But that's when I'm living in there. I'm narrating the booth, depending on how long your project is. Could take me a day, could take me a week, 2 weeks, depending how long it is. So that's when I'm just going to town. I might contact you during this time. Sometimes something pops up where maybe there's an error that crept into the manuscript and I just don't know what this is supposed to be. I might text you or email you if we've set that up ahead of time. But I'm just going through it. Now, ahead of this whole process, we have worked out how long we anticipate this project to be. If you say, hey, it's May the 1st, you hired me, and I think, hey, this is going to be done by May 15th. We set that time. This is also where in this process, maybe I get sick, right? That's happened to me before. You get sick, you get COVID, you get whatever. Obviously, I do not want to record your audiobook if I'm not feeling good, because that's not going to be a good product. And so I need to wait a little bit for that to pass. So during this time, I might need to contact you and let you know, hey, there's a circumstance where this is going to push me back a few days, but I'm going to be in contact with you during this time. I usually try to give updates every couple days too. Hey, I'm 3/4 of the way finished. Hey, I just completed. So we stay in touch during this period, but this is really just me in the booth, in the cave, like Gollum, looking over my precious. At the conclusion of all the recording, I move from the booth right here and I actually sit down at this very desk. And now what I'm doing is I'm taking on my big, massive screen that you can't see right now. I have the PDF manuscript that you sent me up. I have my audio file opened up. And then I also have a spreadsheet that I work through. And what I do is I go through and now I listen to the entire book. Everything I just recorded, I listen to it. And I'm listening while reading the manuscript of the book. And this is where, in the event that there might have been a mistake on my end, I catch it and I make a note of it, I mark it. And at the end of this, I can go back in the booth and I do what's called pickups. This is just where I re-record those sentences that have some sort of error or something crept in that's weird. Consequently, at the very end of this process, you have a moment to review this as well. And if you ever hear something weird, this is where you could contact me and we could then do another round of say, hey, this one word here you messed up or whatever, and we could always fix that stuff. So proofing is a big part of what we do. We want to make sure we get everything right. From there, once I have the whole book edited, in terms of listening through everything, I've gone in the booth and I've done my pickups. I've repaired anything that needs to be repaired. Then what I do is I do my final editing and what's called mastering. Mastering, you've probably heard of this when even for music, you've had a remastered CD of whatever. This is where you just take the final recorded product and you listen to it, or you make all the adjustments to make it sound where it needs to be in terms of volume and specs. ACX, Audible's company, they have very strict guidelines in terms of what they want to hear from their audiobooks. If you submit something and it doesn't meet those, they kick it back to you and they don't even accept it. So I need to make sure that I submit all of those. and in the right way. So I what's called master them to make sure they're all at certain levels. And I do that. From there, I then go back to the ACX My Project page that you and I are connected through, and I start uploading all the final tracks. You now, and I'll let you know, I'll say, hey, client, I have uploaded all the tracks for your input. You then have the opportunity to listen through everything. Now, I'll tell you, I've had clients who listen to nothing. They just say, okay, cool, it's up there. We're good. They approve it. I've had clients who maybe just spot check. I have clients who listen through the entirety of the book with a manuscript and then give me feedback on stuff. You're the client. I want you to be happy. I want you to enjoy the product. And so you do what you feel most comfortable with. Just let me know what you're going to do. If you say, hey, I want to take a week and listen to the whole thing, awesome. If you're just pushing it through, no problem. The thing I ask you is if you are going to write down comments and notes and say, hey, let's check on these sorts of things, write it in a way that is clear. So include the page number from the manuscript. So you could say on page 53, and you might even make a note on there, paragraph 1, and then a time code. So you could say, actually start it this way. Chapter 5, page 53, paragraph 1 at, 2 minutes and 47 seconds. So I need to make sure I have all that information, because if you just say, oh, you said the word R, O-U-R, and it sounded like hour, H-O-U-R. It's weird. Okay, where? Oh, it was like in the 4th chapter. I can't find it. It's like a needle in a haystack. So really make sure you include all that information so we know exactly where to find those things so we could fix them. But you have as much time as you need to go through and listen to everything. Once we have finalized that and all the audio is up to your liking, you kick it back to me. And you'll say, yep, I approve. You kick it back to me. At this point, I acknowledge final payment. So at this point, we know exactly how long the audiobook is. And we could calculate based on the deposit you gave, how much money is owed. Once you pay me in full, then I click the final button to say, yes, we are going to ACX. It then goes up into the ACX stratosphere, wherever that lives. And it now sits in a period of, I'll go to full screen. It now sits in a review period, a quality control period. So it's 10 business days, not 10 total days, but 10 business days, about 2 working weeks, in which it's going to pass through 4 different aspects of quality control. It's going to look at, does the artwork match what you provided? Does the cover look, oh, look, I'm getting a thumbs up. Does the title match everything? And then it looks at a couple different aspects of audio as well. So this takes about 2 weeks, and then after that, it's live to Audible, and you can enjoy it and promote it everywhere. So I know this is a little lengthy, but this is talking through the process of the PDF. If you have more questions, I'd love to talk to you about it. So let's schedule a time to Zoom, to FaceTime, to talk on the phone. I just want to make sure that, we're in a partnership. You're not just ordering something from Amazon and then getting it facelessly. I'm in this with you, and I want you to be successful in your journey. And I don't take light when someone asks me to narrate their book. That's an honor, because you've spent a lot of time working on this project, and I want to make sure I'm spending that level of dedication as well to give you what you deserve in return. So thanks again for including me. Can't wait to work with you, and we'll be talking soon.